Hello, everyone. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. I am the Biz Bruja, Vanessa Codorniu, clinical hypnotist, bilingual Latinx brujita, an Akashic record reader, a energy healer, founder of the School de Healing Artes, writer for Be Latina News, astrologer, empowerment trainer for Bella Abzug Young Women's Leadership Institute. I do a lot of things. It's so interesting because the topic of what I wanted to share with you today, or wanted to kind of like share some thoughts really, because I've been hearing from so many people. Yesterday was the full moon in Cancer during Capricorn season. Capricorn season is not over yet. And then we've got this full moon in Cancer. Full moon in Cancer, ruled by the moon, the mother intuition, all the feels. It's a perfect setup to feel very emo. And think about it during Capricorn season, right? Feeling emo about not progressing, feeling emotional about we're working so hard, am I getting anywhere? Feeling and questioning, am I doing the right thing? Am I taking care of myself enough? Or even on the opposite side, feeling guilty for not working more or doing more, right? And so that's kind of the energy that came up when I was meditating this morning. And we had the full moon go in last night at, I think, 6:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're still in Capricorn. And the moon is opposite Pluto, right? The transformer. So expect that you're going to feel a lot of things. So why did I want to come on here and have a chat with you? It's because sometimes people say to me, you're so lucky. You've got the partnership that you want. You bought a house last year. You're doing really well in life. And I am lucky, right? I am lucky. But again, in Instagram, we only see the shiny parts. I was just in Miami and it was very, very emotional, right? Because in 2020, we lost half our family. So I'm not lucky in that, right? My dad, my mom, my youngest brother. Then we had serious COVID scares where two members of our family were in the hospital fighting for their lives, right? And they were very healthy before. Thankfully, they're alive. And they missed my wedding. And so when you look at someone's life, you could say, oh, they're so lucky. They're living in Puerto Rico, or they vacation in Mexico, or they've got this house, or they have this life. And what I wanted to talk about is taking things one day at a time. I am a Reiki master teacher in 4 different paths, right? It is a Japanese ancient tradition of energy healing and hands-on healing. Now, culturally, we all, whether we remember or not, whether it's been passed down or not, we all have energy healing in our cultures, in our indigenous cultures. We all have hands-on healing. Again, we may not remember, it may not have been passed down, right, because of colonization, et cetera, and the demonization of our indigenous spirituality. But I studied Japanese traditions because at the time I was so sensitive, such an emotional psychic sponge, that I needed something to help me. The limpias weren't doing it. I needed something more. And when I studied the Japanese tradition of Reiki, Usui Reiki Ryoho, and I studied that. I studied Violet Flame. I studied what is essential Reiki. I studied so many different paths. I needed to do all that. And in the process of doing that, I started in my 20s. I didn't fully know that I'd be who I am today. Although my guides told me, although people reading my natal chart were like, girl, you got North Node in Pisces. You're going to be a spiritual teacher. You got to go with the flow, intuition. You're going to be a psychic, all these things. Right. I was like, no, I was all in the Taurus. Like, can I just have a stable job? Because I lived alone in New York City, right? I didn't have a husband taking care of me or even someone to share bills. And I chose it that way. I chose to live alone because I was so sensitive that I'd rather work a couple of jobs, like have a full time and have my business on the side, than have a lot of instability in my home when I knew that my guides were talking to me, that I knew that I was doing deep spiritual work and healing for myself and for others, even in my 20s. And so getting back to that, people, we see the images of people succeeding online or living their best lives or living good lives. And I'm not talking about the wealthy who were born that way and they have issues too. I'm talking about people who really worked very hard to get where they want. And then people call me and they say, well, Vanessa, I'm failing at my goals. I didn't make $1 million this year. I didn't do this. I didn't make 10,000 this month. I never hit 6 figures in my business. I can't lose weight. I can't do this. I can't do that. And what the issue really is not that you're not capable of attaining something that you're dreaming of, right? I mean, I could dream to be an astronaut. I'm probably not going to attain it, right? At this time of life and etc. But I'm talking about those dreams that are in total alignment with your sacred gifts. So for the healers out there, for the creatives out there, for those that are like, you know what, I just want to serve the planet while having a sustainable business, while making a living, that is totally doable. And what we've got to look at is, how are you showing up day by day? We tend to think that our successes are like that one big thing, right? Like you cross the finish line, you get the book deal, you make, I don't know, $100,000 that year, or you make 200 or 250 or 500, I don't know, a million. You have the baby that you wanted, you get married to the person that you loved. We tend to think of the goals being completed when we achieve the big thing. What we're not happy about, or we're not acknowledging, is the little bricks that it took to get there. Now, just sharing, so I'm going to be totally personal. So I've been working out now, and I knew I had to work out. Why? Because first of all, I've always been somebody who's worked out. I lived in New York City. I walked a lot. I did 13,000 steps like that. And I used to dance a lot. I used to belly dance, take 6 hours of class a week, weight training. Like I used to do so much. As I got older, as I built my business, I wound up gaining weight because I was stationary. And I've always been like voluptuous, right? But, I wasn't seeing the success this year with my training. I was doing interval training and I kept going. And even some people asked me, they're like, well, you're not really losing the weight that you wanted to lose, but you're still working out. And I'm like, yo, it's step by step. It's a bit by bit by bit. So, and I'm not saying this, so people could say you look great, don't worry. I'm not saying that. I'm just sharing a personal story. So you could see that the incremental gains that we make by showing up for ourselves, whether it's self-care, working out in our business, eventually get us to the big stuff. And so I've been working out now 5 months, hit interval training. Some people are like, oh, but you love that. You love working out. I'm like, no, girl, I love to dance. Okay. I don't necessarily love to throw ropes, to do the rope things, the battle ropes. I don't necessarily like to turn tires over and then do planks. No, I don't really do it. But why do I do it? I do it because as a spiritual person, as somebody who does readings every day, like I'm not just a seer, I'm a seer that's doing the work every day, in hypnosis every day, in ceremony, guiding people. I need to take care of my body so my body can take care of me, right? It's one and the same. And as a spiritual being, we're taking on so much energy from ourselves and other people that we wind up expanding far energetically, far more than the body can contain. And this is where the body starts to break down. And so I noticed 5, 6 months ago, hey, I'm really lucky. I had half of my family pass. I had clients pass away. I had people from high school, grade school pass away. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening in this world? And then observing and witnessing my own students and my own clients losing people, that I'm like, I'm really blessed with this crazy health, even though I have some thyroid, right, issues. They're slow. It's my thyroid is slow. I've got to take care of me. And that's why I signed up to show up 3 times a week, right, and do it. Do I want to do it? No. My thyroid lately was giving me more trouble. So I woke up exhausted. Girlfriend did not want to get up and go to the gym. Okay. But I was like, you know what, V? You got to check this out. You got to check it off. You got to do it. And each little brick and each little brick. Now, again, my goal was lose weight, be fitter, be stronger, be healthy. But I didn't see the pounds come off, and I really haven't still. I think I've lost like 7 pounds. Yes, I know muscle weighs more, etc. But I stopped focusing on that. I stopped focusing on what the stupid body scan showed me, which pissed me off, right? They knew I was really Latina when I was like, que esta mierda, right? I was like, I'm not doing a body scan again. But I'll tell you something. I went to DR recently, loved it. Hadn't been there since I was a little girl. And I wound up being in the ocean, swimming, doing some snorkeling for the first time. I wasn't tired when I came out of the water. I wound up doing 9 miles, which I didn't know I was doing, on a bike. It was supposed to be an electric bike, but it actually wasn't working for 5 miles. So I'm there like off-roading, all on the rocks, avoiding, puddles, remembering 22 years ago doing the 5-borough bike tour in New York. I really am not on a bike regularly, nor do I do a Peloton or anything like that. And I did it. There was no pain in my back. There's no pain in my stomach. Like my core was solid. Then we had to get off the bike after 9 miles. Again, I was not told. And then I walked, right? Then I walked. 2 miles. And then we climbed down the cave, this beautiful Taino cave. And we swam in the ancient waters. And then I climbed back up and I got home. The only thing that hurt really was here because of the pressure of holding on to the bike. Now, I'm not sharing this with you to be like, ooh, V's got her health on. I'm sharing this to tell you that I released the goal of losing weight, say 30 pounds. I released the goal of I had to look a certain way by a certain time. And I just allowed myself to show up. And then I was pleasantly surprised. I also want to share something else. I know that people are making it online now faster than ever because y'all got different tools. When I was 16 years old, over 30 years ago, and I started reading people, I didn't even charge because it was just about serving community. And then when I got hired by a talent agency and started doing readings for people at 100 an hour, okay, again, like what was it, 30 years ago, something like that, 28 years ago, there was no Wi-Fi. There was no social media. There was no Facebook. And so I was growing my business like that very organically, word of mouth. And I didn't see this work as a way to make money. I was like, I have a job. This is my service. Now things have completely changed. And that's why, as I'm creating my Bruja Mind, which is a 2-month program to help you build your business. And I've already been doing this I've been online now successfully, hitting 6 figures my first year online since 2012, 2013. And I've been teaching people, I think it's about 6 years now, 6 years, because I wanted to wait to make sure that I could replicate my success. Because sometimes you do really well 1 year, but that doesn't mean you can replicate or you can pivot fast enough when shit hits the fan, right? And so I share the story about the workout to let you know that a lot of us think that it's about achieving the goal. And then we lose sight of what we're doing every day. And so if you want to be a successful business owner, you want to be fit or stronger, or you want to meditate more, be more psychic. A lot of people are like, I want to be more intuitive. It's not about that big pow message that comes down and it's downloaded to you. It's not about that big moment when you finally get that book deal. It's about all the little steps that you took along the way. And if you fall off the path, getting back on, right? Getting back on the path. And so I just wanted to share that because it's very, very appropriate for Capricorn season that's like ambitious, let's go, and structure and discipline. And then you've got Cancer, protecting my home, protecting myself, loving myself, intuition. And then insecurity coming up, opposite Pluto, right? Oh my God, I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. You are enough. You're more than enough. But we're not taught to focus on the right thing. So everyone, it's not about the goals. It's not about the end goals. It's about the incremental growth. It's about, so for me, I was psychic from being a child, right? Like many of us are very intuitive, but I listened to it. I listened to it every day. I read people every day, mostly. There's some weeks maybe where I've taken time off, like recently, but the incremental brick by brick by brick that I built makes it that even in a car accident, I was able to hear my guides. Even in the worst time of my life, during a breakup, during tremendous loss of my family, I'm still hearing directives and guidance because it's what I built over time. And so for any of you who've had folks steal your work, hi, me, or a lot of fake accounts, hey, like 15 in a year, post that stuff online, let people know, but know that no one, and I mean no one, because even people who leverage their fame or their career in another space and come into the spirituality wellness space, sometimes in a couple of years, they're gone. I'm not wishing them that, because we have to show up to create capacity. We create the capacity to be able to be in hypnosis sessions. We create the capacity to be on a bike, riding on a crazy off-roading trek that I didn't even know about. I didn't even know I was going to be off-roading. I've never done it before, but I did it. Nothing hurt. I rocked it because I was building the bricks of fitness for like 5 months. And so I ask you, before you give up on your goal, your dream, before you say, screw it, I ate the chocolate pie or the chocolate cake, because chocolate pie, I haven't heard of it, but it sounds good. no dejen de seguir, no dejen de soñar. Do not stop dreaming because it hasn't happened yet. Whether it's the love that you're wanting, whether it's the baby that you want to bring forth, whether it's being psychic or intuitive or serving your comunidad, do not give up on your dream. And I shared my personal story today because it's real, it's practical. You know, I'm not one of those spiritual teachers that's going to make it all pretty for you. The truth is the truth is the truth. You know, I've been through tremendous loss. I also am blessed, but I'm part of the blessing is I've never given up. And I'm going to get emotional now. There's so many times I wanted to give up. Full moon in Cancer, right? There's so many times that I saw other people climb up onto the stage of spirituality and wellness. And by the way, the stage is not really where I ever really wanted to be because I'm a people's healer. I'm la curandera de queens, right? I've always been very humble because I've been raised that way and taught that way. There's so many times I wanted to give up. So many times when Facebook changed the algorithms, oh my God, and I had 44,000 people following me. That didn't come out of nowhere, and I didn't buy those. It came out of 2.5 years. I did 2 videos in English and Spanish a day, 5 times a week, my people, for 2.5 years. And in that year, 44,000 people followed me on Vanessa Codorniu en Español. And then Facebook decided to change shit and people didn't see me anymore. People were writing me like, girl, you still doing this work? Yes, I am. And so there's so many times in my life, in your life, how many frogs did I kiss? And also really amazing princes that just didn't match up, right? Like I didn't get married till last year and I've been with my partner now 6 years. But I've dated so many wonderful people and I've also dated some liars and people who needed serious health care, mental health care along the journey of life, right? And cheaters. I've been through it. I didn't give up. And so whether it's love, whether it's fitness, whether it's your health journey, I've worked with so many people who have autoimmune diseases or cancer. They've come back. They never gave up. And so wherever you are in your life, stop looking at the big picture. Stop looking at the Instagram shots where people look so happy and everything's fabulous. That's a second. And it could be real or not. We could have been crying about some loss and then been like, oh, makeup time. Okay, let's get in front of the camera. We don't know. And it really doesn't matter at the end. Other people's highlight reels on Instagram don't really matter because we're not really meant to compare. At the end of the day, what matters is you showing up for your calling. What matters is you showing up for your mind, your body, and health. What matters is that you show up for your healing, knowing that you're also healing your ancestors, tus antecedentes, and you're healing your descendentes, your descendants. When we do the sacred work of sticking our neck out and doing something different, and we do it consistently over time, people are going to ask us, hey, how are you so happy? Or how are you so calm? Or how are you handling all these challenges so well? That's where you get to step in and share your wisdom and your journey and your path. And so please, as we tie this up, it is the Capricorn season and it is the full moon in Cancer. Hey, I shed my tears. And no matter how much you want to give up, no matter how you may feel like you're not supported, get your support on. Get a guide, get a teacher, get a community, get a friend, make new friends. You know, a lot of us as we get older and if we don't have kids or if kids have left the nest or it's just we're single, especially during Corona, the pandemic, we start to feel like we're very, disconnected from humanity and people. We've got Wi-Fi, we've got internet, we've got apps. Connect with people, join bike groups, join walking groups, join outdoor stuff. Allow yourself to grow beyond the preconceived notion of what you've been taught. Allow yourself to be a beginner. Because what happens is that we're always given these like finalized goal, the person who's a size 2 or 4, 8, whatever it is, right? Or 15 coming down from a 30, whatever it may be. Or the person who's married in their dress all happy or with the babies or whatever it is. Or the, hey, I made $1 million on my book deal. What we don't often see because this culture and this society hasn't honored that. It wants us to think that we all came out of like the golden egg or something. When the truth is, como almas, as souls, we incarnate to tap into our character. And what brings forth our character? Those challenges. We see who we truly are in those difficult moments. And if you're crying or you need support in those difficult moments, that doesn't mean you're weak. It means that you've been so strong and been carrying so much that who you truly are is multifaceted, multidimensional, and that you cannot always be the giver. And so I ask you for compassion for yourself on this full moon. I ask you to look at your systems because it's Capricorn, right? It's Capricorn is all about structures. And know that what brings you the success that you want is not necessarily having a big ass goal. It's the steps, pasito a pasito a pasito, cada día haciendo algo, every day doing something. And then you look and you're like, what? Like, I want to tell you, I started my podcast. I want to do a podcast for years. I started it and then my dad passed away. Like, I was like, what? So I was like, woo, let's go. Let's do it. Finally, el podcast, the Biz Bruja podcast. My dad passes. My mom's sickness gets worse. It was a rare disease that came out, thankfully not passed down. And then I'm trying to struggle to show up in my podcast. And it's literally like the bottom of the rung of my priorities. But I'm like, mujer, even if you don't do it for 2 months, métete ahí, hace algo, like do something, hace algo, like do something. And even though it was a couple of months, all of the folks kept listening. I found myself at the top 100 in Denmark. I found myself top 100 in Mexico at some point. I found myself top 100 in Spain. I was like, ¿qué? But I was like, I don't even do that many. But I didn't stop. I didn't stop, even if it took 2-3 months to get back, right? Because I got married, because of the challenges. And that's what I'm saying, where the colonizer rules are so strict and the images that are shown to us are always of the final product. Nothing is a final product. And guess what? The most fun, I mean, some people could say is maybe eating the cake. When you're baking the cake, and by the way, I'm not a baker, I've just observed, or when you're cooking the food with your husband, your partner, your wife, whoever it may be, a friend, your family, tu abuelita, that process of creating brings so much joy. And yet we're in this society that just focuses on the end product. The end product is really good for sales, I guess. The end product is really good to make people feel like they're lacking, so then they're going to buy something. But the truth of the matter is that the process is everything. And so keep showing up level your structures. That's what I'm in the process of doing. I give away a lot for free, and I'm like, wait, how can I leverage this and real world grants or real world situations where I can also pay BIPOC and Latinx healers and employ them in my business? And so I'm in the process of restructuring how I work. So remember, we can always begin again and have compassion for yourself. And this is the time. We got Capricorn season. We're going to shed a few tears for how we felt, what's going on. And then how are you going to show up to nurture yourself? How are you going to show up to love yourself? How are you going to show up to answer your ancestors' call and to nurture the dream for your descendientes? Sending you so much love. I'm so glad I came on here, and let me know if this serves you. Bye, everyone.